A significant series starting on this Thursday in Cleveland. There's only 5 games on this Thursday around MLB. Maybe the bigs giving way to the Hall of Fame game tonight in Canton, Ohio, between the Bears and the Texans. But nonetheless, a significant set gets started on this Thursday in the land. It's the 2 top teams in the American League. Cleveland, 65-42. Now the best win percentage in Major League Baseball, and thus, of course, the American League. They have a full game advantage over the Baltimore Orioles, who are 65-44. Could this series matter at the end of the year for what ultimately determines who gets the number 1 overall seed in the American League playoff bracket? The Guardians, a very slight home favorite, -110 for this series opener, -106 on the other side for Baltimore. Those odds were an even pick'em. This virtually a pick'em, total 9.5. Who wins the first game today in Cleveland?
Last 60 days, Ben, let's take a look at the pitchers. And again, there's only 5 games on the card. 9 pitchers are qualified with at least 20 innings pitched. The worst pitcher on the card, number 9, it's Trevor Rogers. Not terrible statistics, though. An xFIP minus number of a 118. An ERA, that's not too bad, 3.48, but he does have a high xFIP number at 4.77. Now, as I said that, we're going to take the Cleveland Guardians right off the bat, Ben. Not necessarily. Take a look at Trevor Rogers. Very good against lefties, a little bit shaky against righties, but the Guardians lineup that doesn't hit all that well against left-handed pitching, because you take a look at the last 30 days. Steven Kwan's a lefty. He's done very well against left-handed pitching, understandably, one of the better hitters in Major League Baseball. Jose Ramirez, 462 ISO power number and a weighted on base percentage of 526 over his last 30 days against left-handed pitching. Even Lane Thomas, the new acquisition, he's got a high weighted on base percentage against left-handed pitchers. Outside of that, nobody is hitting there, which means Fry, Naylor, Martinez, Jimenez, Freeman, and Rocchio expected to be in the lineup today. So that could be an addition here where you're looking for Trevor Roberts to step into a role that he fits right away against a quality team because they don't hit lefties all that well. Go over to Ben Lively. Average pitcher, you take a look at his numbers. A 104 xFIP minus, an ERA under 4, and an xFIP number of 4.31 over the past 60 days. However, I just told you Cleveland struggling with left-handed pitching. The Baltimore Orioles, Ben, not struggling at all against right-handed pitching. Here, take a look at Cowser, Henderson, Santander, O'Hearn, Mullins, and Urias here, all elevated weighted on base percentages here that can get after it. So for my money, even if I don't like the pitcher on the mound for Baltimore, I think it's a very good matchup for the pitcher for Baltimore and Rodgers. I'll go ahead and take the Baltimore Orioles in this game. I just think the matchup could be in their favor today.
Trevor Rogers, of course, making his debut for the Orioles. He was acquired on deadline day from Miami. Baltimore's won 2 straight, 4 of its last 6. Cleveland has won 3 straight and 6 of its last 8. The Guardians only played a short 2-game set in the midweek, had yesterday off because I believe a rainout. They were taking on the Tigers. They won both of those games. Detroit at home hosting the Royals. Kansas City doing what you would expect, sweeping the White Sox yesterday with a 10-3 win. Another divisional duel for both KC and Detroit, where the Royals a hefty road favorite in the Motor City. What's the play today in Detroit?
And the play is simple here. The Royals should win this game. We'll go to the pitching matchups in just a second, head-to-head. But if you take a look at Montero, 54 batters that he's faced over the past 30 days as right-handed batters, 340 ISO, 423 weighted on base percentage. He's faced a total of 71 right-handed batters on the season. Hasn't pitched all that much. That's a 369 ISO and a weighted on base percentage of 443. How does that match up against that Royals lineup, particularly the number 2 guy, Bobby Witt? 342 ISO, 565 weighted on base percentage, and a K rate of around 10% over his last 80 at-bats against right-handed pitching. He should be able to do damage today. But also, you take a look at the pitching matchups here. Kansas City, clearly the better pitcher on the mound. That's Seth Lugo. Last 60 days in Major League Baseball. How about an 84 xFIP minus, an ERA of 3.80, and a very manageable xFIP number of 3.48. I know it's expensive. It's on the road, but when we just take a look at matchups overall, it makes sense to go with Kansas City. And I'm not even downplaying that Detroit lineup, which has been getting better over the past couple weeks. But a better pitcher and a couple guys that can crush right-handed pitching, that stacks up for a Kansas City Royals dub today for me.
Yes, it absolutely does. 10 runs scored yesterday on the South Side against the White Sox, and Bobby Witt Jr. did not have an RBI, but was 2 for 3 at the dish, drew 2 walks, scored 3 runs. Our guy, Vinny P., the Pasquatch Pasquantino, 3 ribbies yesterday. Kansas City Now it's 60 wins. I feel great, thanks to Craig Mish, about the over of my preseason win total bet on KC at 73.5. 60 wins for the Royals this year, Donnie. They only won 56 games all of last year. We talked about the Ace affair underway today at Wrigley. Shota Imanaga gets the start for Chicago. Sonny Gray on the other side for St. Louis. It's a virtual pick'em inside the friendly confines and this divisional duel. What's the play?
Some you might be saying that Sonny Gray could be getting a little bit unlucky because theoretically, number one on the card over the past 60 days out of those 9 pitchers today, Ben, that's Sonny Gray. An xFIP minus number of 70, an ERA that's close to 5, but an xFIP number of 2.82. Now, let's go back to June 29th here for Sonny Gray. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 6 runs. 5 innings pitched, 5 runs against the Nationals a week later. Versus the Cubs, 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. That's very good. But then bounces right back up. The Braves, 7 innings pitched, which you like, 5 earned runs you don't. Last start against the Nationals, 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, leaking oil for Sonny Gray. So if we're just being simple in this, you say, Donnie, don't you just test those analytical numbers? Sometimes you have to line up equally when you're looking at both sides because Sonny Gray, even though he has those great xFIP numbers, you take a look at his true numbers, ISO power numbers against his last 105 batters combined, 237. Way too elevated for me. Weighted on base percentage. You want that number as a pitcher around 320 or less. He's sitting at 391. Give me Imanaga. Give me that slight price at home. I'll take the Cubs here due to a pitcher that should be pitching much better than he is. We're just not getting the results out of Sonny Gray.
Of course, Shota Imanaga, in his first year in MLB, came on like a barnstormer, but then started to struggle. 7 earned runs given up in his final start in May, and the 5 starts he made in June, 17 total earned runs allowed. But in July, 4 starts, only 7 earned runs allowed. He is 8-2 this year with a 2.95 ERA. DRS, before you go and host the money line, what's the Hall of Fame game best bet?
Kickoff return for a touchdown, which you cannot bet. So sit back and relax, enjoy that game, and just watch. Take those notes, people. Take the notes.
If we see a kickoff return TD, I think that leads us to an over. Donnie right side. Have fun on the money line. Talk to you tomorrow on the early line. More TEL next.